Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we are flying on the Singapore Airlines 787-10, which the 787, even though it's a long haul aircraft, isn't really used for very long haul flights on Singapore Airlines. It just adds extra capacity. This route today we'll be flying from Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur to Singapore, the main airport in Singapore. Now this video is more of an appreciation for Singapore Airlines, hence why you can hear the beautiful boarding music playing in the background while we board the aircraft. GSX is doing its thing. Unfortunately, no jet bridge here, but we will jump into the cockpit and we will enjoy the beautiful sights and sounds of Singapore Airlines, which, if I'm honest, Singapore is pretty much an experience as opposed to just flying. Anyway, we've got our battery on. Our external power is on as well. Let's start the APU as boarding has now started. Hydraulic pumps, we're going to set all hydraulic pumps to auto, which means they'll be currently off until the APU is running and everything. So yeah, passengers will start boarding in a moment. We have 16 tons of fuel, gross weight at 200. Is that correct? I'll just double check. We're expecting 235 passengers. Our payload should be 25,728. Let me just check the weights, because for some reason the weights have not been inputted on here. So fuel set to half. We need 10.8 tons of fuel. Where's our fuel? Fuel is at 15, so we've got quite a lot in there. So if we bring it down to... we only need about 10. So if we go up to about 11.1... oops. 11.1, that'll be perfect. As for payload... that's our fuel. Payload should be set to 230. Payload is at 13, so we should be 25. And there's 25 tons. Just about. Where are you? 25. So this is my video really showing appreciation. Why is the fuel quantity 0.5? 10 tons. So we're very lightweight today. So as we have our weights, we will do this. Thrust reduction. Takeoff minus 20. Flap configuration, we'll probably do optimal. 3 to left for departure. Conditions currently are dry. Winds are at the moment... where's the weather? Departure airport. METAR, our winds are variable at 2 knots. So let's say winds at 00 at 02 knots. Outside air temperature is currently 29 degrees. Very good. Hectopascals will be 1007. And our takeoff weight will be approximately estimated. Takeoff weight is 171.6. Oh no, not 0.4, 0.6 kilograms. Okay, hang on. Let's do 172,000. There you go. And then our CG, we'll just check on here. This is what I like about Flight Sim 2020, and I'm sure it's the same on 24. You can check all of these actually. Where are we going? CG, CG, CG. Well, that's the fuel, that's the payload. Ah, okay. So, I'm not too sure what our CG will be on this particular flight. Anyway, we can probably calculate from here what is going to be copy FMCD data. Okay, it's not really calculating. Engine auto. Okay, I don't know how to use the performance calculator on here. CG. What would our CG be? It'll probably be somewhere in here. Where's the weights? Well, we could call it maybe 30, just to play it safe. Yeah, we could call it 30. Play it safe, can't we? So is that everything we need to do in order to get the... Okay, I don't know why it's not calculating, but let's say we're going to do flaps 5 for takeoff. CG, we'll call it 30. Complete. Pre-flight complete. Perfect. So we can put the speeds in. Invalid data. Takeoff weight. Gross weight. Okay. Get that handle out the way. So our takeoff weight will be 160.4. There you go. Speeds deleted due to change in takeoff data. That's fine. Okay, I'm not too sure what our thrust temperature will be, so we'll just do a normal toga takeoff. But we have a climb thrust limit set to 2, so this should be okay. Right, let's go to route. We're pretty much ready to go. Let's get our IFR clearance, and then we'll figure out the rest of it. But first we'll get the ATIS.
Wind calm. Visibility 6. Sky condition. Few clouds at 10,100 feet. Few clouds at 14,200 feet. Temperature 29er. Dew point 10. QNH 29er.77. ILS runway 14 left. ILS runway 14 right and ILS runway 15 in use. Landing and departing runway tree, 2 right, runway tree, 2 left, and runway tree. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have India.
Alright, we got information India. Let's call for our clearance.
Delivery Singapore 105 Heavy ready to copy IFR clearance to Singapore.
Singapore 105 Heavy is cleared to Singapore Airport as filed. Takeoff runway tree, 2 left climb and maintain 9,000 feet. Departure frequency is 135.25 squawk 0404.
0404.
Singapore 105 Heavy cleared to Singapore Airport is filed. Takeoff runway tree 2 left climb and maintain 9,000 feet. Departure on
Alright, we're going to start preparing for our pushback.
Singapore 105 Heavy readback correct. Contact ground on 121.65. Good day.
It looks like what are we doing? 121.65. Right, should we prepare for our pushback then? If we call GSX to complete our boarding, and then we'll get going. Actually, what we'll do first is we'll go through the checklist. Pre-flight checklist is now complete. So normal. Okay, before start checklist. Passenger signs set. We got all of our speeds. CDU pre-flight is done. Trim won't set yet. It should be set to 0 units. If I go onto this side, we can put flight controls, and trim is set to 0. Yep. Rudder trim, stabilizers trim is on 8.5, but that's okay. Okay, taxi and before start briefing. So we will be taxiing through. We'll be taxiing over to runway 3 to left for our departure, and then we'll go out on the, let me double check our departure route, legs. So our departure will be from runway 3 to left on the Rusby 1 Echo departure, and we're climbing initially to 9,000 feet. Okay, beacon can come on now. Beacon on. We'll set the stabilizer trim to 0 because we'll just bring the stabilizer trim up. I know we don't really have to do it right now, but the before start checklist seems to indicate that it should be set. There we go. So that's that checklist complete. Now we'll call for GSX for our pushback. Prepare for pushback and departure. And then we'll also run the safety briefing in just a moment as well. Oops, speeds are a bit fast for the camera. Okay, we're going to put the safety video on now.
Welcome aboard Singapore Airlines. As the safety equipment on this aircraft may differ from that on other aircraft, please give us your attention as we bring you through this important safety briefing and on a journey through Singapore. During takeoff and landing, ensure that your tray table is stowed away. Put the back of your seat upright and keep your shoes on. Before we take off, stow your luggage under the seat in front of you or in the overhead compartments. Make sure that your seat belt is securely fastened during taxi, takeoff, and landing. To fasten, bring the two ends of the seat belt together until you hear a click. Tighten it by pulling on the strap. To unfasten, lift the metal flap. We recommend keeping your seat belt fastened throughout the flight. Whenever the seat belt sign is turned on, infants should be lifted from the bassinet and secured with an infant seat belt. If there is a change in cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will automatically drop in front of you. Pull the mask down sharply. Place it over your mouth and nose. Pull the lateral straps to tighten it and breathe as usual. Secure your mask first before helping others. It is normal for the bag to not fully inflate. There are several emergency exits in this aircraft. Take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit, which may be behind you. Count the rows of seats to the closest exit in front and behind you. In the unlikely event of an emergency, or when you hear the command, brace, brace, assume the brace position. If you can reach the seat in front of you, lower your head and place it on the back of the front seat. Place your hands on top of your head. Keep your feet flat on the floor and heels towards your seat. If you can't reach the seat in front of you, lower your head and lean forward as far as you can. Place your hands on top of your head. In an emergency evacuation, floor level lighting will lead you to your nearest exit. Before using an evacuation slide, remove any high-heeled shoes and be sure to leave everything behind. To put on your life vest, remove it from the plastic cover and slip it over your head. Pass the straps around your waist, connect the clip, and pull to tighten. Inflate the life vest by pulling the red tabs or blowing into the mouthpiece. Life vests have a whistle and a light to attract attention. Special life vests are available for children. Inflate your life vest only at the exit door and step into the raft. Life vests are located under or between your seats.
Okay, both engines are running now. Let's get the packs on.
All large
Set
electronic
everything
devices,
to
such as
auto.
laptops,
Let's go
must be
through the
stored
after start
for
checklist.
taxi,
Anti-ice,
takeoff, and landing.
recall,
Lightweight electronic devices,
No.
such as mobile phones and tablets,
numbers, RTO
must
is
be switched
checked.
off or set to
Flight
flight
controls.
mode. During
Full
these
left,
times, charging your electronic
right.
devices is also not allowed.
Full up,
If you're
full
not
down,
using your device, it
rudder
must be
left,
held in your hand
rudder
or
right.
placed in the seat pocket in
checked.
front of you.
Ground equipment is clear.
If your
APU
device drops into the gap between the seats, refrain
off.
from adjusting the seat and ask the cabin crew
Checklist
for
complete.
assistance.
Flaps for takeoff. We'll go flaps to
We
5
remind
for
you that
takeoff.
This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking, including the charging and
just,
use of e-cigarettes,
take that
is
off.
prohibited throughout the aircraft,
We
including
will
the
zoom
lavatories.
right in so we can see the airport map.
Thank you for your attention.
Kuala
Refer to the
Lumpur, ground
safety card
Singapore
located in the
105
seat
Heavy with
pocket in
India
front
ready
of
to
you
taxi
for more
IFR.
information. On behalf of Singapore Airlines, we hope you have a great time on board as well as in Singapore or anywhere else in the world we take
Sierra
you.
Tree Hotel, 5 Kilo Echo Echo, 2 Delta Delta, 11 Charlie Charlie 11. Contact tower on 119.8 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway tree 2 left via taxiway Sierra 2 Sierra Tree Hotel 5 Kilo
Gotta make
Echo
quite
Echo,
a
2 Delta Delta,
sharp
11
turn.
Charlie Charlie 11 Singapore 105 Heavy.
So we got our taxi clearance now to 3-2 left, which is pretty much due north. Just making a really tight turn, that's why we're a bit slow. Let's close that one. So we'll arm the VNav and the LNav for our departure. And I'll play you the... what I like about the Dreamliner, it's actually a very quiet aircraft, which is fantastic actually. Actually, all aircraft with Singapore, very quiet, nice and easy to work with. And haven't been on the 737, so I don't know about the comfort levels of the 737. But as I mentioned already, that I've already flown on all of Singapore Airlines wide-body aircraft, from the 380 to the 350, and including this 787-10. And actually, this was the last 787 variant for me to have completed, and now I've done all 3 variants of the 787. So we're coming off of the Terminal 1 satellite gates, and we're going to taxi over to runway 32 left, which will bring departure straight out towards Kuala Lumpur City itself. I'll play the lounge music in the background while we move along the taxiway. While I'm here as well, we should turn the how do we turn the transponder on? I don't actually know how to turn it on. Panel off, nav, no. Figure it out in a minute once we get further along the taxi. 787 is a nice aircraft, but I honestly do prefer the A350. If I was to compare both, I think the A350 for me is the winner. What I love about Singapore Airlines is very much an experience as opposed to just a flight. As you can tell by the music, very well composed pieces of music which they play while you're on the aircraft for takeoff and landing, and it's just so nice and it keeps you calm and collective. It's so much so that way that, you know, even for example, my wife, who's not very much into aviation, we have to travel, of course, for to get to the Philippines. She's from the Philippines, and I'm half Filipino. Now we're going to have a problem here with this AirAsia aircraft. Just going to watch out for a moment. So yeah, and you know, she's sort of learning some of the details that I am picking up, especially that we have a toddler. You know, we have a 3-year-old daughter that we travel with, and she's starting to pick up on things like how the customer service is. For example, here on Singapore Airlines, they really do put children and those with special requests first. You know, they go around while you're on the ground asking you about your child's needs, and also like for the special request, like meals for example, and they have these little tickets that they put on top of their seats, so they know which people that they need to serve first, which is actually really nice way of doing things. Now, I'm not bothered about food service. I don't mind if it comes later on. But always that we've flown with them, they always put our child first, and she becomes one of the first to eat, which is really nice actually. So we're just going to taxi over here, and then it's a direct all the way down. We'll use Delta 6 here. Well, it's actually Delta 5. Into Charlie. And we just pretty much taxi all the way to the end, and then we'll join 32 left. We've got Toga, so we should be ready for our departure, and a flight time of approximately 40 minutes should suffice for us as well. Now I'm gonna figure out the transponder. Do we have to turn it on in here? Comms, I don't actually know how to turn the transponder on. Edit. Okay, I don't actually know how to put it on. Do I have to click that? Invalid? No. So we clear that. That's okay. The aircraft is picking up a lot of speed because the aircraft is very, very light for this flight. The shortest flight that the Dreamliner does for Singapore seems to be the flights to Bangkok or Jakarta. So that's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Longest flight that they do on the Dreamliner is, I believe, to Perth, which is about 6 hours. So although this is an aircraft perfectly capable of about 12 to 14 hours flight, doesn't use it. The 350 is more utilized on those kind of flights. Seating capacity is about the same as well, with you know, so it's actually not too bad. But the 350 is a fantastic aircraft, and it's nice that they have two aircraft configurations for that. So again, I'm not too sure how to turn the transponder on, because we got TCAS off. Terrain. Okay. Alright, we need to slow down because we got this juncture coming up. Get it down to about 10 knots for the turn, because you don't want to overdo the turn. Double check over our shoulder as well. First officer should be checking for us. And nothing to our left side either, so we're just going to come across. Cabin crew, seats for takeoff, please. Check the recall. Stabilizer green band. We're in the green band. Front door lock fail. Emergency lights. Window heat, TCAS and off. So we'll double check all of those. Let's switch over to tower. We're switching to tower. Let's go through all of these yellow item list. Window heats come on, so that should clear that one. It says front door lock fail. I don't know what that's all about. Emergency lighting. Should it be in the armed position? Should be. Where's the emergency light position? We'll double check it in a second once we stop at the end here. And it says stabilizer green band, which it is actually. Let me figure out the TCAS as well, and then we'll stop here just short of Charlie 11. Then we'll set the parking brake because the aircraft is super light that on idle thrust it's moving. So let's check, how do we get this transponder on then? No, that's the nav. Ident, if we, it says norm below altitude. Okay, I really don't know how to turn the TCAS on. That's just different comms, GPWS inoperative, over radar inoperative. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll just have to fly without TCAS on then, because I can't get it on. Let's do our checklist. Before takeoff checklist is complete. So checklist off, let's zoom out. We will go to request for clearance.
Tower Singapore 105 heavy at runway 32 left, ready for departure IFR to Singapore.
Singapore 105 heavy QNH 29.77 wind calm. Cleared for takeoff runway 32 left.
for takeoff runway tree 2 left Singapore 105 heavy.
We'll just double check our auto just to make sure. Strobes can come on now, landing lights can come on. Front door power, that's where we are. And the emergency lights can come off. Can come onto arm as well. Cool. That's sorted. That's the transponder one, isn't it? There we go. TA and RA is on. First officer, ready for takeoff? Yes, sir. Then we'll get clock started as well, so we can time our departure or our flight time for our logbook. Nothing on approach, clear left. Nothing on the runway, clear right. We got a climb D10, climb 2, because we're super light anyway. Don't need to use all of the Dreamliner's super powerful Trent engines today. Alright, let's line it up properly. Okay, set the clock. Start the clock.
Kuala Lumpur Tower, Malaysian 12414 miles northwest, inbound ILS runway 15 approach. Malaysian 124 Kuala Lumpur
Toga
Tower.
breaks out.
H29er.77 wind calm, cleared ILS runway 15 approach.
Airspeed is alive.
Cleared ILS runway 15 approach.
80
Malaysian
knots.
124.
V1, rotate. Positive climb, gears coming up.
Kuala Lumpur Tower, Boeing 9er Mike Romeo X-ray Alpha ready for departure runway tree 2 left IFR to Zhengzhou. Singapore 105 heavy contact Kuala Lumpur.
Autopilot's coming on. Oh, that was quite dramatic.
Good day. Boeing 9er Mike Romeo X-ray Alpha line up and wait.
Going to 135.25 Singapore 105 heavy.
Then we're going on a shallow climb out.
Kuala Lumpur departure Singapore 105 heavy is at 2,000
Flaps going up to 1.
climbing 9,000 feet.
Singapore 105 Heavy, Kuala Lumpur, departure QNH 29er.77 radar contact, continue. Singapore 105 Heavy, climb and maintain 9,000 feet, expect flight level 290.
Climb and maintain 9,000 feet, expect flight level 290 Singapore 105 heavy.
Flaps up. 250 knots.
6128, contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 132.6. Good day. Singapore 105 Heavy traffic is 5 o'clock 3 miles at 1,200 feet Airbus. Report them in sight. Singapore 127 climb and maintain 15,000 feet.
So we're climbing out now with just about 50% power.
6128.
That's our climb D10, climb 2. So there's a nice shallow climb out. Got some turbulence on the way out, but that's alright. Should be able to get a good view of the city on this side as well.
Is at 1,800 feet, climbing 14,000 feet. Singapore 105 Heavy, contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 132.6. Good day. Red Cap 1 tree, Kuala Lumpur, departure QNH 29er.
It's a busy airspace this evening, or this, should I say this morning on this flight.
Kuala Lumpur departure Raya 861 Heavy is at 1,200 feet, climbing 9,000
Engine 2 is rolling back for some reason. What's that all about? Okay, it rolled back, but then it's now sorting itself out.
132.6 Singapore 105 heavy.
We're leveling off at 9,000 now. Despite the climb detent, we were able to get up to 9,000 feet very quickly. Only 3 minutes after departure.
Heavy Kuala Lumpur Center QNH 29.76 radar contact. Continue to KK 709. Kuala Lumpur Center Singapore 127 is passing 9,600 feet, climbing 15,000 feet. Singapore 105 heavy contact Kuala Lumpur departure on 135.0.
So we're holding 9,000 feet as the view of Kuala Lumpur City is coming into view.
127 Kuala Lumpur Center QNH 29.76 radar contact. Continue to Gosmill.
135.25 Singapore 105 heavy. Goodbye. Kuala Lumpur departure Singapore 105 heavy 9,000 feet.
Singapore 105 Heavy Kuala Lumpur departure QNH 29.76 radar contact. Continue to KK 709. Singapore 105 Heavy climb and maintain flight level 200.
Climb and maintain flight level 200 Singapore 105 heavy.
How do I do the flight level change? Do we just press it? Oh, there we go.
Singapore 105 Heavy contact Kuala Lumpur Center.
We'll get these lights off. Approaching 10,000 feet and acceleration. Oh, it's climbing really fast. But then we are super light, so it kind of makes sense.
Kuala Lumpur Center Singapore 105 heavy is passing 10,400 feet, climbing flight level 200.
We'll leave the seatbelt sign on for a moment. Just let the flight attendants do their job.
Level 210. Singapore 105 heavy Kuala Lumpur Center QNH 29.76 radar contact. Continue to KK 710. Redcap 6128 climb and maintain flight level 240.
Why are you coming down 11? Oh, because it's doing acceleration. Right, we should do the after takeoff, which we've finished. So now it's just descent checklist will be the next one.
Malaysian 2747 contact Kuala Lumpur approach on 125.1. Good day. Kuala Lumpur Center Red Cap 1 tree is passing 7,200 feet, climbing 14,000 feet. Red Cap
So this route actually between Kuala Lumpur and Singapore is the most heavily dense flight route between two cities anywhere in the world. It's a very short flight at about 40 minutes to an hour, depending on obviously wind conditions and traffic and obviously weather on the ground at both Kuala Lumpur and at Singapore, because often or not, especially in Singapore, I had this experience where the aircraft was put into a hold for quite a while, and it actually added an extra 30 minutes to the flight. And there's plenty of capacity with Singapore Airlines, who fly like at least 5 flights a day, and at least 2, sometimes I think 3 of them can be here on either the A350, actually it's the A350-900 in the regional configuration. As I mentioned on the ground, the 787 doesn't really operate this flight, but today I'm doing it, so I can talk about my experience with Singapore Airlines. I'm hoping that the A350 is now out from any builds that I can potentially purchase soon, and that I will be able to bring that aircraft on this route. And actually, we'll turn off the seatbelt sign. It's not so bumpy ride up here. But anyway, I'm hoping that I can bring that soon to you guys, because I really want to fly the A350 on Flight Simulator. I've been looking forward to that aircraft for a long time. Well, these turns seem very steep, but they're okay. I'm not super familiar with Boeings really, but this is where we're at. I hope to get the A350 soon because there's quite a few flights I'd love to do with the A350 900 especially, and even the 1000. 27. So we've been given our clearance for our climb to our cruise altitude. Actually no, our cruise is 29, but we're going through 20,000 now. So once we get, because if I show you here, we've got, oh hang on a second, we get rid of this flight discrepancy legs, and then we go next page, put armor in there, put it into there, that should clear that, and then our top of descent will be just after Topor, which is very soon after our top of climb. So like I say, it's a very short flight, plenty of capacity, including Scoot Airlines, which is the subsidiary of Singapore, and I think they do at least 1, possibly 2 flights a day in their Dreamliner. Sometimes the 8, sometimes the 9. So again, there's more capacity there. While we are approaching our top of climb, actually we should set our barriers to standard. We can actually prepare for our arrival because how do we set arrival? Arrival. We're expecting to arrive on 02 left, which means we get a nice view of the city. 02 left. Transition APRA. If we check the legs,
Kuala Lumpur Center, Malaysian 7679,800 feet. Malaysian 767 Kuala Lumpur Center QNH 29er.
so we've got quite a few discrepancies here, but that's okay. So if we went to put that one in there, put that in there, that should clear up those discrepancies.
Singapore 105 heavy climb and maintain flight level 290.
There we go, we've been given our clearance up to our cruise.
Flight level 290 Singapore 105 heavy.
Let's set up our arrival. APRA. I'm guessing that is our transition, isn't it? Oops, no. Deselect. And then we'll set that in there. And that should be okay, I guess. Sambok. Okay. Still got a discrepancy for some reason. Right after our top of climb, Amra. Let's just put that in there. Execute. And then the other bit we can figure out because that will be straight onto our arrival anyway. Okie dokie. We've got it now. So let's go back to map. And now we're on our climb. I'll let you enjoy the views, which to be honest, there's not a lot out of our window today. And as we approach our climb, we approach our top of climb.
Malaysian 767, you are 40 miles east. Descend and maintain 6,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect ILS runway tree 2 right approach via Salty transition. Clear to Salty. Singapore 127 climb and maintain flight level tree 40. Descend and maintain 6,000 feet. Keep not above 210 knots. Expect ILS runway tree 2 right approach via Salty transition. Clear to Salty Malaysian 767. .65 red cap tree 87. Goodbye. Kuala Lumpur Center red cap tree 87 is at 10,200 feet descending 6,000 feet. Singapore 127 contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 126.1. Good day. Red cap tree 87 Kuala Lumpur Center QNH 29.79er radar contact. Continue to KK 891. .126.1 Singapore 127. Goodbye. Red cap tree 87 contact Kuala Lumpur approach on 118.65. Good day. Malaysian 767, you are 42 miles southeast. Descend and maintain 6,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect ILS runway tree 2 right approach via Salty transition. Clear to Salty. Going to 118.65 red cap tree 87. Descend and maintain 6,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect ILS runway tree 2 right approach via Salty transition. Clear to Salty Malaysian 767. Kuala Lumpur Center KLM 810 Heavy Flight Level 230. KLM 810 Heavy Kuala Lumpur Center radar contact. Continue to KK 802. Malaysian 852 traffic is 7 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 230 Boeing. Report them in sight. Malaysian 610, you are 1,700 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain flight level 230. KLM 810 heavy traffic is 1 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 225 Boeing. Report them in sight. KLM 810 Heavy have the Boeing in sight. Singapore 105 Heavy contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 126.1. Good day.
Going to 126.1 Singapore 105 Heavy. Kuala Lumpur Center Singapore 105 Heavy flight level 290.
Singapore 105 Heavy Kuala Lumpur Center radar contact. Continue. Boeing Tree 9er Tree, you are 62 miles southeast. Descend and maintain 6,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect ILS runway tree 2 right approach via Salty transition. Clear to Salty. Descend and maintain 6,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect ILS runway tree 2 right approach via Salty transition. Clear to Salty. Boeing Tree 9er Tree. Boeing Tree 9er Tree, contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 132.6. Good day. Emirates Tree 69er, heavy contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 132.6. Good day. Going to 132.6, Boeing Tree 9er Tree. Going to 132.6, Emirates Tree 69er heavy. Singapore 105 heavy, descend and maintain flight level 190.
Ah, they've given us our descent clearance now.
Descend and maintain flight level 190.
So we'll
Singapore
go down.
105 heavy.
Is it going to start descending? There we go, nice slow descent as we are still in view of the Malay Peninsula, and we'll be going all the way down to the bottom of the Malay Peninsula to the island of Singapore. So we need to double check our performance pages for our arrival. So if we go to initial reference, Flaps 30 will be for our landing today. We could do a 25, but we'll do flaps 30 today. And I think that's it. So we're 135 knots on the arrival. We're starting our descent nice and steadily on profile as well. So we'll make an announcement to our passengers. Good morning, passengers. We are now starting our descent. We've been in the air for approximately 25 minutes. We'll be on the ground in approximately 20 minutes or so. So weather on the ground, I haven't actually double checked, but we're not expecting anything too crazy for our arrival into Singapore today. View of the Singapore city should be on the left side. We got scattered clouds and few clouds. Nothing too crazy today. Winds from the north and the temperature of 27 degrees. So I hope you've had a pleasant flight with us from Kuala Lumpur, and we hope to see you in the future. Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for landing. And that would be my announcement to the passengers. Not the best, but you know what, I'm not a real world captain, not a real world pilot. I'm just going to double check our fuel to make sure that we are still good for fuel. If we open the fuel page, we still have 7.5 tons of fuel, which means we left on about 10 tons. We burnt 3 tons already, and we're expecting about 6 on the ground, so that should be, sounds about right actually. Another ton of fuel to be burnt for our arrival. I think we're good to go then. Hopefully we get sequenced in quite nicely so we don't have to be put on hold or wait around or even do a go around, because that's the last thing we want to do.
1,500 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain flight level 340.
So it's been a nice flying today. Not too bad. We got some, looks like sort of scattered clouds around. It's not too bad. So I'll leave the seatbelt sign on for a while. Perhaps when we reach about 15,000, we will put the seatbelt sign on and then ask the cabin crew to prepare their seats for landing. The flight overall today has been really good, flying south down on the Malay Peninsula. We are expecting to land on runway 02 left. This would be our briefing. Hopefully no delays. And then we'll taxi directly to Alpha. I think we're expecting Alpha 1 or Alpha 2 for our arrival, which is next to the Butterfly Garden. So that's where we'll park today. Oh, got a speed, decreasing speed already. Let's help it out. Let's get the speed brakes out. Yeah, speed brakes are out. Oh, that was a dramatic turn of events with the speed brake. It's trying to bring the speed down. Our VNAV speed at this point apparently should be 187 knots. But it's holding at 260 knots indicated. So we'll let these speed brakes bring the speed down, and our VNAV, LNAV profile is just starting to come into play as well, which is good. For a Boeing aircraft, this is actually quite an easy and automated aircraft to fly. I'm sure the MAX actually is probably the same, thinking about it, and possibly even the KC. The KC 767, which is a 767, but it's pretty much avionics from the Dreamliner, which is what we're using right now. coming down 20,000 now.
Singapore 105 heavy contact Singapore Center on 123.7. Good day.
123.7 Singapore 105 heavy. Goodbye.
Actually, 220 is good to
Singapore Center Singapore
hold at the
105
moment.
heavy is passing flight level 195, descending flight level 190.
Singapore 105 heavy Singapore Center radar contact. Continue to bow back. Singapore 105 heavy descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Singapore 105 heavy.
We'll see.
Singapore Center Singapore 127 is passing flight level 235, climbing flight level 340.
We'll see if the
Singapore 127 Singapore
if we can
Center
get back
radar
on VNAV
contact.
profile. I think we can actually.
Singapore 105 heavy traffic is 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, I won't be able to see that.
230 Boeing. Report them in sight. Singapore 127 traffic is 12 o'clock 3 miles at flight level 190 Boeing B-78X. Report them in sight. Singapore 127 have the traffic.
Yeah, I can't see the traffic because it's right behind me. That's that 127. Actually, let me check what Singapore 127 actually is. It's probably a flight from Europe. SIA 127. Oh, it's a Kuala Lumpur as well. So we're pretty much mimicking a flight that is taking place at this moment in time of our recording.
Climb and maintain flight level 400 Malaysian 724.
Oops, we're a little bit high coming to Bobag. You know what, we'll use the speed brake again just to get the aircraft to descend a bit quicker. And then get the VNAV profile back on check as well. Been in the air for 31 minutes or 32 minutes. So we should be on the ground in about 10 minutes or so. Gone through 15,000 feet. Let's get that seatbelt sign on.
Melinda 152 contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 126.1. Good day. Singapore 105 heavy traffic alert. 6 o'clock, less than 1 mile, 16,600
There's
feet
our
Boeing.
VNAV profile coming back into play.
Report them in sight. Singapore 127 traffic alert. 3 o'clock, less than 1 mile, 13,400 feet, Boeing B-78X. Report them in sight.
Well, it should be right behind us. We should be able to see it actually because it's following the same flight path as us.
Melinda 152. Goodbye.
Well, I can't see it. It must be holding 250 knots on its descent down.
Singapore 127 have the Boeing B-78X in sight.
Oh, there's some CBs in the area, so we'll have to just be a bit careful with those. And we're starting to see Singapore just over here now as well, to the left side. So our barrio, I have this ready as well. Let's double check again. Approaching 10,000 feet now. Oops. So we have to check that we set.
Singapore 105 heavy contact approach on 119er decimal tree. Good day.
119er decimal tree Singapore 105 heavy. Goodbye. Approach Singapore 105 heavy 10,200 feet.
Singapore 105 heavy approach QNH 29er decimal 79er radar contact. Continue to bucket. Singapore 105 heavy contact Singapore Center on 123 decimal 7. Good day.
123 decimal 7 Singapore 105 heavy. Goodbye.
Oh, I don't like these.
Singapore Center Singapore 105
Trying to set
heavy
the
10,000
minimums.
Singapore 105 heavy Singapore Center QNH 29er decimal 79er radar contact. Continue to bucket. Singapore 105 heavy descend and maintain 6,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 6,000 feet.
So we're on a
Singapore 105 heavy.
398 radial.
Singapore
Oh my
105
God, it
heavy,
went up
you
to
are 25
4.
miles southwest. Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Keep speed not above 220 knots. Expect RNAV runway 02 left approach via Samco transition. Clear to Samco.
Got it.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Keep speed not above 220 knots. Expect RNAV runway 02 left approach via Samco transition. Clear to Samco Singapore 105 heavy.
Singapore 105 heavy contact approach on 119er decimal tree.
Cabin crew, prepare
Good day.
for our arrival, please.
Going to 119er decimal tree Singapore 105 heavy.
Right, I'm gonna play the landing music in the background now as well, which is what you would hear on the flight at around this point.
Approach Singapore 105
We are very
heavy
high,
is
by the way.
passing 9,000 feet, descending 4,000 feet.
Singapore 105 heavy approach QNH 29er decimal 80 radar contact. Continue to Samco.
We are a bit high for our arrival actually, but hopefully we can recover it using the speed brakes. Gonna arm the localizer, it should capture it, I hope. Once we reach Samco. Use flaps 1 now as well. Checklist incomplete. Descent, roll call. Auto brakes, we got everything we need. Approach altimeters are set at 2980. And the landing checklist is the next one. Come on, get down.
Singapore 105 heavy descend and maintain 2,800 feet.
Localizer's been captured.
Descend and maintain 2,800 feet, Singapore 105 heavy.
We'll get the speed down as well. Why did the speed jump up all of a sudden? Localizer's been captured. Glide slope is coming in as well. Glide slope is captured as well. Get that speed down. Come on. Why is the speed holding up? Set the auto brake to 1. Speed brake is out, isn't it? Come on. We'll get down to our reference speed, which is
Singapore 288 heavy, descend and maintain 2,000 feet.
135 knots.
Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Singapore 288 heavy.
Flaps to 10. We're really not able to get the speed down, really. We're going to have to use the landing gear for our speed, but we're still...
Singapore 288 heavy traffic is 10 o'clock, 4 miles at 4,100 feet, Boeing B-78X.
We're still a decent, you know, 15 miles out, so actually we're quite good. There we go, 14 miles.
Contact tower on 122.25 when inbound on the approach.
Tower on 122.25, Singapore 105 heavy. Tower Singapore 105 heavy, 13 miles southwest inbound, RNAV runway
Flaps
02
15.
left approach.
Singapore 105 heavy tower. QNH 29er.82 wind tree 60 at 4. Cleared RNAV runway 02 left approach.
The speed brake is still out. We'll arm the speed brakes.
Singapore 127 wind tree 60 at 4. Clear to land runway 02 left.
And then get us down to 135 for our final speed. Gears coming down.
Runway 02 left, Singapore 127.
Flaps to 17.
Cleared RNAV runway 02 left approach, Singapore 105 heavy.
We're doing flaps 30 for our landing today. It's a shame we got these CBs here, because otherwise we'd be able to see the Singapore city to the left side of us right now. And we got some rain coming in now. Gonna go flaps 30 now, full flaps. And the rain is really hammering down on us. But it looks like we're getting to the bottom of the clouds. Okay, checklist is complete. And the airport is coming into sight now. And the city of Singapore to our left side as well. There's the Marina Bay there, which I've been down to. Marina Bay, Gardens by Marina Bay, that nice building there. And then the airport is just ahead of us in the sunshine. While the city is kind of halfway between the sun and the clouds. Runway's in sight. Final approach speed has been checked. Checklists are complete. Nothing on the recall either. Fuel quantity, I think we're good as well. 7.2. Yeah, we're all good. And we're out of the rain as well. Here's the final approach now. The only thing I need to do is let me just get our gate sorted. We're on the Alpha gate, and we'll do Alpha 1 or Alpha 2. Let's do Alpha 2. And then denutter. There we go. We've got our clearance.
Clear to land runway 02 left, Singapore 105 heavy.
Let's disarm the auto throttle.
Singapore 127 exit runway when able.
Autopilot's coming off now as well.
127 contact ground on 121.725.
Continue. Some gusts that are causing a little trouble, but we're keeping on profile. Whoa.
Tower Singapore 157 Heavy 11 miles south inbound RNAV runway 02 left approach.
Reverse
Singapore
green.
157 Heavy Tower. QNH 29er decimal 80 wind tree 50 at 5. Cleared RNAV runway 02 left approach.
80 knots. And manual braking. Reverses are out.
9er Victor, Sierra Charlie Delta 12 miles south inbound RNAV runway 02 left approach. Boeing 9er Victor, Sierra Charlie Delta Tower. QNH 29er
Welcome to
decimal
Changi.
80 wind tree 50 at 5. Cleared RNAV runway 02 left
Flaps coming up.
Singapore 105 heavy exit runway when able.
Then we'll go to Alpha 2, as I've already.
Cleared RNAV runway 02 left approach Singapore 157 heavy. Singapore 105 heavy contact ground on 127.275.
Speed brakes going up.
Cleared RNAV runway 02 left approach Boeing Sierra Charlie Delta.
Get the strobes off. Landing lights can come off now. And the APU can start as well.
127.275 Singapore 105 heavy. Goodbye.
Then we're going to go to Alpha 2 for our arrival. There's one of our colleagues at Scoot, our low-cost colleagues in the Dreamliner on the Bravo gates, I believe. And this scenery is a payware scenery from CloudSurf, the same people that I have scenery for both Cebu and Manila Airport. Now, thank you for flying with us today. We hope you've enjoyed this one. It's been a nice little flight on the Dreamliner, which I haven't done for a while. And the clock, we can stop. It's been 45 minutes on our flight. And that's been fantastic. Great sequencing in as well. So, you know, I can see the jewel from here, and we're going to have a little tour around for a bit as well while we are here, arrived in Singapore. I love coming back to airports that I've flown to in real life, and coming back to Singapore on the flight sim is just fantastic. And actually parking up at gate Alpha 2 is where our A380 from London actually parked up when we came to Singapore. Well, we came to the Philippines via Singapore using Singapore Airlines. Let's turn off the transponder now. No longer need it. There's a Philippine Airlines 777. Not unusual to see in Singapore. 777 and the 350, which they've only got, sadly, only two 350s left. Turn off the FDs, we don't need it anymore. It's a bit of a hard landing, unfortunately, on my behalf. But, you know, the Dreamliner is not an aircraft that I am overly familiar with, especially for the flare. Anyway, we're just approaching our gate at Alpha 2. And this is Terminal 3, which is actually one of the main terminals here in Changi. This is where the butterfly garden is, which I've had the opportunity to go inside. And there's the Alpha 2 arrow. Then we'll get the nose lights off. It's Alpha 2. We don't have a marshaller on the ground because it uses the electronic marshalling system, which you can see on the wall at the back there. But I need to zoom in so I can actually see it because it's quite a distance. We are really far to the right side, left side, sorry. So we just bring it in there. Oops, we've overrun it slightly, but that's okay. Set the parking brake. Shut down the engines. Engines are rolling back. Seatbelt sign can come off now, and the beacon can come off. Let's ask GSX to deboard the aircraft, and thank you for flying with me on Singapore Airlines. The 787 from Singapore Airlines. So as I said, I can have a look for you in here. This is Changi Airport, Terminal 3. There is not really an interior for the main terminals, which is a bit sad, but it's okay. I mean, it's a very big airport, very well detailed. But this is the position. In fact, this is, like I say, this is the exact same gate that we arrived on the 380 from London. There was actually a Dreamliner parked next to here on Alpha 1, but it's not. It's very tight for wide bodies. Over here in this corner, this is where the butterfly garden is actually, behind these glass, but it's not here. And the Ambassador's Lounge. Then this is moving over, you can see the, I forgot what they call these, the Sky Train, that's what they call it. Going over towards the Jewel, which is over here, and the Jewel is a beautiful masterpiece. You should really honestly go here. Again, not much detail here on the cloud surf scenery, but enough to sort of give you an idea about what it's all about. Perhaps I'll show some pictures on this video of how the Jewel actually looks like in real life. And yes, you can go on the Sky Train during the daytime and actually go through it if you are transiting. However, if you're transiting and you haven't left the secure area, you'd need to get the SG arrival card to get into this area. But if you have, let's say, 4 to 5 hours, I would recommend it. Most passports can come into Singapore without any visa and just the SG arrival card, which is an online arrival card, very easy to fill out, very easy to do. Come into the Changi, come here into the Jewel at Changi and just enjoy, sit here while the water is flowing, perhaps get a coffee, tea. There's plenty of things to do in here actually. The shops and cafes and restaurants. This is Terminal 1 over here. I think this is Terminal 1, or is this called, yeah, this is Terminal 2 or Terminal 1. Can't actually remember now, but this is another terminal. That Cebu Pacific should be on Terminal 4, not over here. I think this is Terminal 1 on this side. I think the middle one is Terminal 2, which is there. Most Singapore flights go from Terminal 3, but some of them go from Terminal 1 as well, which is on this side. Anyway, thank you for joining me again. There's the Crown Plaza, very expensive to stay there, but by the way, the fronts of here are actually very nicely detailed. I like the details here. And as I say, if you ever take a stopover here in Changi, I would recommend actually leaving the airport, get the SG arrival card and leave, and enjoy the city. It's only on a Grab, which is like a cab. Only takes about 25 minutes to 30 minutes to Marina Bay, and just enjoy even just Marina Bay. That's what we did for our 11-hour stopover in Singapore. Anyway, thank you for joining me today on this lovely Dreamliner flight. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that I'll see you in the future. Singapore Airlines is more than just an airline, it's more of an experience. Likewise for Changi. Changi has a particular smell which me and my wife really want to get hold of. Hope we can soon. Fingers crossed we can. And even the Singapore hot towels have a particular smell which we'd like to get hold of. It's just everything is an experience. And as we spoke to our Grab driver on the way back to the airport, Singapore really is a garden city, and you really feel that when you go into Singapore. Lots of trees lining streets. Even here in the airport there are gardens all over the place, and there are plants and trees in a lot of places. I think it really does give you a nice calming experience. Brilliant place for a stopover. But I would always recommend get at least 3 to 4 hours so you can enjoy your stay in Singapore, even if it's just the airport here at Changi, which we have done also previously. Anyway, I thank you for joining me today, and I'm glad that I was able to show a little bit of appreciation for Singapore Airlines. Hopefully Singapore Airlines doesn't kill the copyrights from their music, and I hope that they just let me enjoy this one and let you guys enjoy what I hope has been a pleasant flight, which it has actually, from KL to SIA Singapore. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you on another one soon. Bye bye.